Hey guys, this is Feeding Frenzy 91, and I'm bringing you news, more gaming update news, as we make the preparations for the Xbox and PS4 to come out in next month. I bring you something said by an analyzer. For those of you who know who Michael Pachter is, and I believe most of you do, he analyzes games and systems, and he's been really doing the next gen consoles pretty much most of the time. Well, that's what every game like website is really doing now, focusing on next gen. So, especially the Xbox One and PS4. Alright, now Michael Pachter said something that actually was surprising to me because I don't know if you guys watched my other video where I talked about him, but to me, Michael Pachter really seems like he is pro Microsoft, okay? In the videos I've seen him, he really seems pretty like he really likes Microsoft compared to other companies. Now, in this video, he actually said that Microsoft's price, how it's $100 more than PS4 will actually cause it to lose millions of sales. He said it's not a fatal flaw, but it will cause it to lose millions of sales. And he thinks that by next year we see a price cut by next E3. And I was like, wait a minute, did Michael Pachter just say that? Alright, it got me thinking that now Xbox needs to rethink its plan, because Michael Pachter, I've watched Pack Attack is his show on on GTTV, and I will link the episode where he says that this is going to cost them millions of sales in my description. And in his other episodes, I really see a lot of pro Microsoft talking. Like even when the Xbox One stuff, like he'll talk about all three systems, but he seems so pro Microsoft when he talks about them. And I was like, to hear that from him, that's a different thing than hearing it from a random guy or hearing it from someone who isn't like who I didn't think doesn't seem pro Microsoft to me. So to hear it from Michael Pachter actually made me think, Microsoft, you really need to rethink about changing the price on this system, because to me, for him to say that, that means that okay, all everybody now really thinks that this is a bad price. And Microsoft, I know that it's probably too late for them to do that, but they really need to start thinking about, at least down the road, like when this price drop is going to occur. And I really think that it needs to occur sooner than I think they want it to, because I've honestly thought that myself. And to hear, well, all right, I've already stressed that Michael Pachter saying it is a big deal, but anyway, I've actually thought that myself, that with the Xbox One coming out at $500, I mean, it's $100 more than the PS4. To me, that's just a big mistake. Come on, Xbox. You saw Sony do this. You guys released 360 for $400. Now, it's true. Sony released their better version of it for 600, but I think there was, when it was released, a version for 500. So that's only $100 more. And see what happened there. The 360 sells much more at the beginning because people don't want to pay $500 for a system, and that was back then. I mean, now people definitely don't want to pay $500 for a system. I mean, people are already paying more for games. They're paying so much for DLC. I mean, back when the 360 and PS3 came out, DLC for consoles wasn't that big of a thing. So people had more money to spend on the consoles and the games. Now people are paying so much for, they're paying for access to online. If you're with a PlayStation Plus or Xbox 360, they're paying for DLC. They're paying bigger prices for games, and they're just I don't think they want to pay $500 for the Xbox One. I know that a lot of people probably did the pre-orders, but that's to be expected. People pre-ordered the PS3, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know that for certain because I didn't pre-order the PS3, but I'm sure that people pre-ordered the PS3. And we all know how that turned out for the first couple of years. People thought that Sony was going under. People thought that the PS3 was going to be the last PlayStation. Of course it wasn't, but I'm still saying, Xbox, come on. You cannot. I mean, I know you're bundling the Kinect, but the Kinect is not enough. The Kinect is not a reason for me to spend an extra $100. I know that the Kinect may be worth an extra $100, but I don't want to spend that much money, and I don't want to feel like I have to buy this Kinect when I'm probably not going to use it. I mean, I am glad. Let me say that I am glad that Microsoft said that you do not need the Kinect to be attached anymore to play the system. But still, the fact that they have said that they don't plan on bundling any Xbox without a Kinect, all right, I understand it from a point of view, a developer point of view. Developers didn't want to develop for the Kinect. Why? Because the Kinect was not in every household. It's true, they sold about 24 million, but at the same time, it wasn't in every household. if the Kinect is in every household, then developers will most likely develop for it, because if Xbox, let's say 5 years down the road, sells 50 million consoles, right? That means there are 50 million Kinects inside people's houses, so developers will want to develop for the Kinect since there are 60 million Kinect inside people's houses. It's all about how much of the product is out there that it's going to appeal to the developers. Now, I understand that, but what Microsoft needs to understand is that they're going to lose a lot of sales. I agree with Pachter. I know my last video about Pachter, I was disagreeing with him, but this one I really agree with him. That's going to cost them not a few. He didn't say a couple thousand, 100,000. He said millions of sales, and it will. I mean, if they took the Kinect out of the bundle, like PS4, PS4 admitted that they planned on bringing out a $500 console. I mean, a console at launch with the Eye, or I think that's what the PlayStation calls it, with the Eye, right? And Xbox could have done the same thing. They could have, but they didn't. And they're not. At least there's no plans that we see to do it now. Xbox could have done that. They could have taken the Kinect out of the bundle, and they could have made it $400, and then they'd have been on even par with PS4, and that's it, PS4. Because at this point, I just don't see them being on even par. I see Xbox One there, and then PS4 way ahead, even in the United States. So much of my people that I know have been Xbox 360 guys saying, "No, I'm going for PS4, PS4, PS4." I'm like, "What?" And these are like diehard Microsoft. I'm not gonna say fans, but people who like really love their 360s are saying, "I'm not gonna I'm going for the PS4." And to me, that's like, okay, Xbox 360, I mean Xbox in general, Microsoft is losing the battle with its own fan base. I'm not saying that there are plenty diehard fanboys, and diehard fanboys are the people that pre-order. Let's just face it. Wii U's had massive pre-orders, okay? Wii U's had a great launch. Wii U's sold so much during that Christmas season, and then what happened? Right after that, January, all of a sudden we've seen this big decline. Why? Because the Nintendo fanboys pre-ordered their consoles, bought them opening day, and then it didn't appeal to as much people as they thought it was going to. Now the Wii U's are just getting back up. Now I'm not saying that they've gotten back up yet, but that price drop actually caused their sales to rise significantly. But with the same thing happened with PS3. Okay, PS3 came out. A lot of people bought it for the first couple months, and those were called the fanboys. Bought it for 600 and 500 bucks. And then what happened? It declines, a huge decline. Why? Because you can't just appeal to your fanboys. Your fanboys, I mean, even though the fanboys really seem to have a large voice, because you go on any forum and you hear a lot of fanboys, I would reckon that if let's say the PS3 sold about over $80 million. I mean, over 80 million consoles. Um, so let's just say that I would reckon only about 10% of that being fanboys, and I mean Sony fanboys. I would think that the other 90% are people who weren't fanboys for any particular console, but went for the PS3 in the end just because they thought it was better or it had better games. So I really think that Xbox One is due for a price drop really early on, and I really think Microsoft needs to think of that a lot sooner than they hope. Because my Pachter said a year. I'm gonna say 3 months. I'm gonna say in 3 months, unless Xbox One shows me something in 3 months that is worth paying the extra $100 for. Because remember, we still gotta pay Xbox Live for this thing. It's not like they say pay an extra $100, we'll get rid of Xbox Live and you get free online. If they said that, yes, that makes sense. I would rather pay an extra $100 and not have to pay for online anymore. But we're still gonna have to pay for Xbox Live. We're still gonna have to probably buy all that DLC that comes with these games. That even like Titanfall and them, they're going to come in massive DLC. We've just shelled out $500 for a system, and then we're gonna have to pay another $60 a year for Xbox Live, and then we're gonna have to pay probably another $20 every single time a new DLC rolls out. You don't have to pay for DLC, but I'm just talking about a lot of people will, most likely. So I don't see Xbox One's $100 price difference with the PS4 to be something that is going to. I see that's going to affect a lot of people. A lot of people's decision in buying it. A lot of Sony even Microsoft fanboys, I think, are going to turn to Sony and buy it, at least initially. So I'm going to give Xbox 3 months. Same time it took the Wii U before people realized that the sales were going down, before the sales started going down in the Wii U, was 3 months. And I really think the Xbox One is only going to be selling like crazy for the first 3 months, and then when they dish out the next batch, people are going to be really buying PS4s more than anything. And now the Wii U is only $299, so the Wii U is $200 less. Count it, $200 less than the Xbox One. So people who aren't Sony fans, who really don't like Sony, and they wanted the Xbox One, they're gonna go look at Wii U's and they're gonna be like, wait a minute, this thing's only $300 now, and so I'm gonna get that. So Microsoft, really think hard, long and hard to yourselves, whether this price $100 difference is really worth it, or whether bundling the Kinect in every Xbox is really worth it. Just think it. I'm not saying that I know how to do their job better than them. I'm just saying I don't see how customers are going to want to pay an extra $100 just for the Kinect. Okay? I just don't see that. And customers who don't like Sony are going to pay an extra $200 just for the Kinect. Alright, so those are my thoughts. I know I rambled on for a bit, but I was actually strong about this topic, because I really think Microsoft may be digging themselves in a hole. I mean, I hope they have enough to get out of it, but I really think they're digging themselves in a hole here. Anyway, this is Feeding Frenzy 91, and I'd like to ask y'all: do you guys think that Michael Pachter is right about this? That the $100 difference in price between the Xbox One and PS4 is going to be cost them millions of sales, or do you think that Microsoft will still be number one in the United States, even with the $100 price difference? Leave me your thoughts. Tell me, what do you think? Alright, I'm Feeding Frenzy 91. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and God bless.